with you. In reading the club's early history, one sees the emphasis placed on acquaintanceship, fellowship, and making the Louisville community a better place in which to live. Those bold ideals that were formed in 1912 remain ever so relevant and at the core of our mission today. And each one of you are so important to the Rotary Club of Louisville. And I thank you in advance for your dedication and for your service. I think the question for all of us is what will be written in the History Journal about the Rotary Club of Louisville's 2020-21 year? And further, what do we want Louisville to be? And how does the Rotary Club of Louisville connect and support that vision? So we're going to begin the meeting today with self-introductions. A lot of us know each other, but we haven't seen each other in a while. So I'd really appreciate if everyone could join in. And I think the best way to do this to keep down the confusion is I'll just call out your name and then you can share a little bit more about yourself. If you would please tell us, maybe what your job title is, what you do for a living, just the title of that. And then I really would love to hear 1 to 3 words, the value of Rotary for you, what it is that excites you about it. Is it the speakers? Is it building business network? Is it community service, international service, fellowship, youth and education? Whatever that is that attracts you the most to Rotary, I'd really appreciate hearing. And for the board members, you all serve in multiple capacities. So to simplify, when I mention your name, if you could just talk about your board role and if you're an officer. So we'll start with Jean West Lasavio.
Unmute myself. Hi, so I'm retired. Most of you know me from a long career in broadcasting here in Louisville. I also have a production company in which I do special projects, many with WAVE, with Ken Salvagi. I fill in sometimes on air. You'll see me replacing John Ramsey when he has to go on vacation or something. I was attracted to Rotary initially because of your work with polio, because I, for many years, was the medical reporter for WHIS and did a medical program and was enamored with what the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth did in India with polio. It's very interesting. They have the world's only polio hospital. Visited there, and I was invited to come to a meeting about the same time by Randy Coe, and I just learned what Rotary did, what Rotary does, and I've just become a big fan and very committed to seeing how we can help move this city and community forward as Rotarians.
Thank you, Jean. So Luke Schmidt.
Okay, thank you. I'm Luke Schmidt. I'm president of my own consulting company, LB Schmidt & Associates, which focuses primarily on economic development and public affairs and communication, serving as the immediate past president of the Rotary Club, current board member, and also chair of the Community Impact Committee, which you'll hear a little bit more about in a few minutes. And I guess so I need 3 words here, Julie.
1 or 3. 1 up to 3, I should say.
Okay, I'm going to go with 3. Always go for as many as you can get. I'm going to say that for me, the value of Rotary for the coming year is to hopefully do my part to make Louisville better.
Make Louisville better. Very good. Okay, John Jennings.
Let me get unmuted there. I'm John Jennings, Vice President. I'm an employee benefits consultant with the Underwriters Group. What really drew me to Rotary initially was being connected within the community and learning about Louisville. It has certainly done that for me and so many other things on top of that. During this COVID pandemic, it's been tough not having the personal connections with Rotary. So I miss that and can't wait to see everybody live and in person one day.
Thank you, John. Chris Whalen.
Yes, hello. Chris Whalen. This is my second term as secretary for the club. And Rotary for me, I guess I should also introduce and say I'm a I have my own digital marketing consultancy, and I'm a husband and father, and most importantly, at the moment, new owner of a puppy. So that seems like all I am. That's all I am these days. The last couple of weeks. Rotary for me is just a weekly reminder of the three words, connect for good. So it's my personal belief that it's the only reason we're in this life, we're in this world, and I can't find any other reason. And so every week you have a reminder through the speakers and through the members and through the great identifying instances of service beyond self. Connect for good. That's it.
Thank you very much. Tony Coffey.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tony Coffey. I'm self-employed. One of three close friends. We own an investment advisory firm that manages money for high net worth individuals and institutions. I'm in my second year as treasurer of the club. And that's been quite interesting during this period. But since Chris did this, I will say that, yeah, I'm a happily married guy with 3 daughters and 3 grandchildren. Life is good. But I first got interested in Rotary because of the youth services and just what we were doing. It's to help just improve education, and the club's done amazing things in the most recent years, so I'm excited about that. But I think I have to fall back for 3 words to just helping improve lives.
Really great. Thank you, Tony. Barry Allen is going to be joining us. I don't know that he's on the call yet, so not yet. Okay, well, we'll circle back with Barry. Julie Skoski. You're muted. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. There she is.
There I am. I'm Julie Skoski, Vice President of the Felson Historical Society. And my great news is that I am a new grandmother. We welcomed Grant Evan Skoski on July the 16th. He came a month early, but mom and baby are doing well. And I think probably the thing I enjoy most about Rotary is building relationships and improving our community.
Really good. Thank you, Julie. Larry Sloane.
Hello,
But there he is.
I'm Larry Sloane, and I have been in Rotary for a long time. Back in the 70s, I joined it for about 8 years, but I traveled in my work. I'm an independent sales rep, and I had a sales organization that covered the whole country, and I traveled all the time, so I couldn't continue the attendance. But when that kind of slowed down and the internet became another way of interfacing with customers, I rejoined Rotary and have been in it probably, I don't know how long. Anyway, it's a great thing. And what I want to say about it is that I enjoyed being in it the first time because I traveled all the time. It allowed me to meet some people who were in business in the Louisville area that I wouldn't have gotten to know otherwise. Over the years, it's been exciting to be part of Rotary and helping the community. I'm chair of the Lifeline Committee. I'm a board member. This is my second year on the board. I've also been on the new member development committee and on the Rotary Foundation committee. So there's plenty to do, and it's all very interesting. And I think connecting with Louisville or connecting for good is really a great way to think about Rotary here.
Thank you, Larry. Barbara Sexton Smith.
Unmute. There we go. Okay. Did I get it? Are we
Yes,
unmuted? Thank you so
welcome.
very
Yes,
much.
we gotcha.
Okay, so I joined just a couple of minutes late, and I apologize for that. So let's see. Tell me what the two questions
Your name, what you do for a living, and 1 to 3 words of what you're most attracted to Rotary.
Okay, so my name is Barbara Sexton Smith, and my current, what I do for a living is Louisville Metro Council woman representing District 4. I love my work, and it loves me back. What I love about Rotary is when I first joined my Rotary was when I was a new fundraiser at Metro United Way in the late 80s. And since my job was to be service to others through the health and human service agencies at United Way, I needed a place to go where I could just be me, where I wasn't working. And that's what Rotary gave me. And then life changed. I, like Larry, took a hiatus and then came back to downtown Rotary. And back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, I think there were only 4 of us women that I'm aware of, and I would have been one of those that was really involved in downtown Rotary. I mean, not in downtown Rotary, in Rotary Breckenridge Lane. Okay, that was more than 3 words.
We'll get it maybe by the end. So thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Cheryl Kersey.
Hi, it's Cheryl Kersey. Hopefully everything's working on my end here. I've got some internet fluctuations. I'm president of Kersey & Kersey Architects. One of my first Rotary exposures was through an international group study exchange in southern India. So it was really interesting to see a lot of the work on an international scale. And locally, I think I like the community service, been chaired the Youth and Education Committee for several years. And I think just kind of helping others is what I really like.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Mike Richardson.
Hello. I'm a principal at the Glenview Trust Company. I've been with Rotary now, I guess, going on 5 years. I serve today as the District Rotary International, District Rotary International Foundation Treasurer. That's a mouthful. And I'm also a newly elected board member, and I serve with Jay Mallory on the membership committee. And I think I will choose one word, which is community. Whether it's the community of the club or the community that we serve, I think that's what's important to me.
Yeah, that's great. Ken Savaji. Ken, I know I saw you a little while ago. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
There he is. Yes, thank you.
I've been the general manager of Wave 3 News for 10 years now. I've been in the broadcasting business for 40. About half of that time I have been in Rotary. This is the first time I'm on the board in Louisville. I had served previously on the board in another city. And I most enjoy Rotary to make the community a better place. Certainly enjoy the speakers, but the public servant part is the best.
Thank you so much, Ken. Todd Warren.
Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Warren. I'm owner of MPI Printing. This is my first board meeting, and wow, what a introduction here. A wild ride, but we're ready. As far as Rotary goes, the values, the connections I've made, the speakers, and just really making a difference in the community. I was down at the California Community Center earlier this morning, helping with some kids, and they really need our support. So hopefully Rotary can help out with that and do what we can do for the community. So thank you all for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you. Maynard Stetton, Dr. Stett.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
Good. You won't see my picture. I don't have a camera on this set, but that's fine. I've been in Rotary about 30 some years now, and I'll be on the advisory committee. I mean, as far as the archives committee. And I joined Rotary way back then, when primarily for fellowship and our civic responsibilities to community service. Presently, I run a farm in Oldham County. I run almost 300 acres, and I registered Angus cows. I'm a retired orthopedic surgeon, but now I'm a bovine gynecologist. So I have my hands full of things to do as far as in my old age out here on the farm. And some of you have been out here, and anytime anyone wants to come to the farm, you're more than welcome. That's all I have to say.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Stett. Tony Newberry.
Hello, everybody. I serve with Stett on the Archives Committee. I'm his vice chair, along with Stan Wetzel, who you'll hear from a little bit. I guess I was drawn to Rotary. I've been a member about 12 or 13 years. I'm a retired president of Jefferson Community and Technical College, And I was always attracted to the Rotary concept of service above self, and got particularly engaged when Rotary took on the major challenge of raising a good bit of money. In fact, it's more than $2 million now in an endowment account to support the Rotary Promise. Now we call it the Rotary Honor Scholarship Program, helping those high school seniors at Western High School and Iroquois High School. So lots of other things I could say, but that kind of symbolizes everything.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tony. Stan Wetzel.
Okay, am I on?
You are. We see
Okay,
you.
wonderful.
Good to see you, Stan.
Okay, 3 words. I'm a lawyer still. Been a long time. Enjoy it. What drew me to Rotary was thinking that there had to be something better than eating lunch at my desk. And Walt Swires was in the same office, and I said, tell me about Rotary. So one thing led to the other, and I became a member. And I was drawn to it initially because of the extraordinarily good-natured quality of the group. I mean, where else can you see people like Bremer Earler, et cetera, singing some old stupid song like Sail On, Silver Moon or whatever, Bicycle Built for Two. And I said, this is great. This is wonderful. And the doing of good things in a concerted and organized fashion, again, in a generous and open-handed manner, that is what it's been for me. I simply like the people, and I like doing what the group does, which for a person like me is sort of unusual. So that's all I've got.
Stan, thank you so much. Meredith Erickson. Is she not on the call? Okay. Kevin Mccarron.
Hello, everybody. Kevin Mccarron. I am the second year public image chair here with our club. It's a pleasure to take that role and to help bring a visible awareness to our club here in the community. I think the one main word that I would use or a couple of words that I've been thinking on here is that awareness of what's happening around us, and then the ability for us to act within those communities, within those groups. I'm energized by every member here in our club, and again, I just feel as though we have a great opportunity here in Louisville to really extend into those communities. I am a creative marketer and business strategist, so I help small to mid-sized businesses with everything from brand development to marketing and communication strategies. It's good to be with you all.
Thank you, Kevin, and thanks for all your work. You've already started helping us with our communications and website and Sparks and all of it, so thanks so much. Doug James, is Doug on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is.
Hi everybody. I'm Doug James. I am the advertising director for Louisville Business First. I spent about 30 years in radio here in Louisville, and then maybe not that many. And then I left town and worked in New York City in radio, and then I ran some stations in Charlotte, North Carolina, and moved back here about a year and a half ago. And I really wanted to reconnect in the community, and I thought Rotary was a great way to do that. So for me, the 3 words would be community, service, and connecting.
Great. Thank you, Doug. Is Greg Cobb with us yet, Alyssa? I know he was going to be late, so he's here. Great, Greg.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Greg Cobb, BB&T now Truist, Vice President of Lending, working with the service group, Community Impact with my good friend Luke. In 3 words, service, connections, and involvement. I read ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you. Joe Ackerman.
I'm here. I was in public accounting for almost 40 years, in charge of an office. I'm now the CFO of Advanced ENT and Allergy, and basically it's civic fellowship, and which basically comes back to community. So those are the 3 words.
Yeah, great, Joe. Thank you. Steve Carrick.
I'm Steve Carrick. I'm a partner with MCM CPAs and Advisors, and I head up our consulting group. I enjoy most about Rotary is the education component, whether that's education on some of the great things that are going on in the community, or education about where we need to improve things in our community. So I think Rotary's done a great job of imparting that information onto us. As far as the 3 words, like a lot of others, education, community, and service.
Right. Thank you, Steve. Lori Flannery. Lori's not with us. Okay, is Brian Vieneman with us, Alyssa? No? Abby Drain, I know she couldn't make it. Gary Dryden? All right, Gary.
Hi, I'm Gary Dryden. I'm the Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Jefferson Community and Technical College. I think I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary of being a member of Rotary. I think I got an email from Julie a few weeks ago, to Vice Chair of the Hospitality Committee. And if you all know Julie, I think it's hard to say no to her. So I decided to do that. I think what got me intrigued by Rotary, as Tony Newberry said, was the Rotary Promise Scholarship. Of course, I'm being a little selfish because Jefferson Community Technical College has benefited greatly from that partnership. But most importantly, it's given students who probably thought they never had a chance to go to college to really go to college and to change the generational dynamics of their families. And I think service above self, Rotary really lives that. So I'm happy to be a member.
Well, we're so delighted to have you, and it's that collaboration and partnership that makes it all possible. So thank you. Bob Hilgers. Dr. Bob, are you unmuted?
A very unstable internet connection.
Oh, okay, we're
so
glad
I
to
catch
hear
most,
you.
but not all of the discussion. And I can check in. My name is Dr. Bob Hilgers, I suppose better known as Dr. Bob. I'm President and CEO of the Women's Global Cancer Alliance. Our focus is primarily on women with cancer of the cervix in developing countries. What really drew me to Rotary was service above self, but the networking was exceptional, particularly when I've lived in a cocoon of medicine almost all my life. And that's been wonderful. And the second wonderful part of that is that I've been able to attend Rotary meetings throughout the world, and just by virtue of what we can, and as a result of that, can tell them about the Louisville chapter.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Paula Grisanti. Not with us? Okay. Denise Sears. Is Denise with us? Denise?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, I am president of SOS. Many of you know us formerly as Supplies Overseas. I am originally from upstate New York. I moved here after my daughter passed away, and I was really kind of seeking an opportunity to get into the nonprofit world. And my first introduction to Rotary was actually with the Rotary in Ghana. We did a project with them. And then I was invited to a meeting down in Louisville. One of the things that people don't know about SOS is how much we're doing here locally. We have several programs up in West Louisville, and we always say that we are saving and changing lives globally and locally. And that actually is what Rotary represents to me with its various programs. I'm co-vice chair with my dear friend Paula of the International Services Committee, and I sit on the Community Impact Committee, so I'm getting that international and local, even in my Rotary involvement. I adopted a little boy who's not so little anymore, about 6 years ago, and today he had his freshman orientation at Trinity. On the way there, he asked me if I was ever going to have the surgery that makes you look young again. So I said, no, I'm paying Trinity tuition, so there's no surgery.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Kevin Lynch.
Good afternoon. I'm a lawyer and financial advisor with Rotary Financial Group, and I've been on the board here for the last couple of years. I've been in the Rotary, I think, for 5 years, and I remember one of the reasons I really liked it or got excited about it was Woody Northrop was getting an award. I think it was Lifetime Service Award. I'm not sure what it was. And he said, how can you walk into a room with, like over 100 people, and pretty much everybody has the same idea. They want to make a difference whatever way they can to make the world a better place, And to me, I'm going to cheat and use 4 words. I'm not going to count with, but to me, it's connectedness with servant leaders.
Wonderful. Really, really good. Great. Okay, Cynthia Miles Brown. Is Cynthia with us? Wonderful.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cynthia Miles Brown, and my first intro to Rotary was a long time ago when I was working in a nonprofit, and I was a member of the South Oldham Rotary, and I met some of the most amazing, dynamic individuals. And I thought, one day I would like to be like them. Well, lo and behold, years later, I own a couple of businesses. My husband and I own Sonorama Dixie, and we also own Yesco Louisville. And here I find myself in the last few years being able to be part of the Downtown Rotary. And that initial service above self, which drew me to Rotary, has kind of morphed into something bigger. I think the 3 words that really describe Rotary for me right now is energy is one of them, because we always seem to have this amazing ball of energy that keeps moving forward. And then I forgot to mute my phone. Sorry about that. And then we also have movement. I think movement in the community. We're always adapting and changing, and I think that's beautiful about Rotary. And I think the 3rd one is mentors, because I find so many amazing mentors and I'm looking at a bunch of you right now on my screen, whether it was trying to figure out what daughter to send my school to send my daughter to, or, how to be more involved. And so I think energy and movement and mentors, whether mentors are older than I or younger than I always seem to find inspiration from so many people in Rotary. So that's kind of my take. And I'm chair of the invocation committee right now.
Yes, invocation, wonderful. Maggie Elder. Is Maggie not on the call? Okay, Larry Sloane, we already heard from. Sophia Fisher, is Sophia with us?
I am. Hi, everybody. I'm Sophia. I'm the Director of Operations at the Northwestern Mutual Louisville office. And then my husband and I run a saddlebred farm. So no cows, but we have plenty of horses around. I've been in Rotary about 7 years now. I came through the Rotary Fellowship program through the U of L MBA program, and I work with Larry Sloane on the Lifetime Committee. I think most people associate me with the meals we serve at the Recenter mission once a month. So it's been my pleasure to kind of lead that effort. And my 3 words would be connectivity to community. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you all for including me.
Great. Thank you so much. Mike Fowlett, is Mike with us? Great.
Yeah, hi everybody. Great to be with you this afternoon. I'm Mike Fowlett, and I serve on the Lifeline Committee with Larry Sloane, the vice chair of that committee. It's been a great honor to serve with Larry. He's a tremendous asset to this club. I'm the president of MM Lending. We are a private lender that serves real estate investors in this region. I've been a Rotary member for, I guess, 8 or 9 years. And my 3 words would be connect, educate, and serve.
Great.
Thank you,
Mike. Thanks for all you do throughout the year. Jay Mallory, we're going to hear a little bit more from Jay, but Jay, are you where you can join or unmute?
Yeah.
There we go.
Everybody. I'm Jay Mallory. I'm Executive Vice President, Business Development and Marketing with a company called Image Quest, and specialize in helping folks with their technology and cybersecurity and IT compliance. So really never a dull moment. I had our membership committee with a lot of help from Mike Richardson. So what a unique situation to be in with COVID to recruit new members to our club. But we've got some good plans and some good ideas we believe we're going to talk about a little bit later. And you know, what I enjoy most about Rotary is just meeting so many new folks and, you know, forging new relationships. And, you know, where else do you spend, you know, 2 hours with a group of business leaders like this on a Monday afternoon. So glad to be a part of the group and looking forward to a very successful year coming up.
Charlie Farnsley, is Charlie on the call? No? Okay. Chris Teeley, I knew wasn't able to be here. Barbara, I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to make it too. So yeah, Chris Teeley, I work in global production with Brown-Forman, working on things like research and development, packaging, and quality assurance. So I also came into Rotary through the Leadership Fellows program a few years ago. And I guess a couple things that I've really enjoyed about Rotary is the community connections and the community interactions that we have with our Rotary organization. And I think that type of work is only going to become more and more important as time goes on with some of the things that you see in our society right now.
Great, thank you, Chris. Barbara Collins is Chris. Barbara, are you unmuted?
I am now.
Okay, great.
Okay. I am a kitchen architect, own my own company, and almost 30 years ago, our late president, Louis Herman, invited me to become the 3rd female member of Rotary.
Oh.
And that was a big honor. And I've been. But the one dearest thing was helping the children read. Here you have this child in front of you, and you can
I think Barbara just froze. Alyssa,
it's been 30 great years. Looking forward to more. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Is Barbara Lynn Jameson on the call? Okay, wonderful. Welcome, Barbara.
Hi, everybody. I'm Barbara Lynn Jameson. I'm the General Director and CEO at the Kentucky Opera. I have been here just a little over a year and a half. And I was really happy that Craig Sherman, got after me right away and said, this is where you need to come. And it's so true. Chris Teeley can attest to the fact that I still haven't got my pin yet. I'm still working on time to get that, but I'm still new to this, but I'm meeting so many of you. But I would say that one thing that really drew me to Rotary was I wanted to learn where and how to connect in my new community, having just moved here. I lived previously in Seattle and before that in New York City. And so I just wanted to learn how to contribute to my new community and how to connect. And then my work is in community building, and I couldn't see a better way to connect and help continue to build the community on my off work time than with the Rotary, and finding new ways to help build this really great community. So I'm really excited to be here, and thanks for inviting me in.
Yes, welcome. We're so glad to have you, Barbara. Betty Russo, is Betty here? Okay, terrific.
Hi, everybody. Betty Russo. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Advancement at Indiana University Southeast. So I was introduced to Rotary. I've been here about 5 years, a little more than 5 years. And I was introduced to Rotary by a colleague of mine. Most of you probably know her, Nancy Jo Trafton, a great lady that said to me, come on to Rotary with me. And I got hooked. And so I've been just, it's been great being a part of this wonderful group. And what I think really drew me to it was a lot of things that everybody's already said, but really the main thing that what we're all about is service, to serve other people, do good things, just to make our community stronger. But the camaraderie is wonderful. And someone else mentioned education. And I thought, at first I thought it was, I thought, well, maybe it's something like the connections we make, which is great. But the education part has been wonderful too. All the great speakers that we hear. Where else can you go and hear and learn so much about our community other than Rotary? So it's been wonderful being a part of this group.
Yes, thank you, Betty. Walt Kunow. Walt's got a part on the program here in a little bit, but Walt is on the line. Walt, can you join us?
Yes, I'm here, and talk about Rotary and starting at the beginning. 2011, I was getting ready to retire, and my wife said, "I married you for better, for worse, but not for lunch." So Rotary fit that bill. She is more disappointed than I am that I don't have lunch on Thursdays because I have it with her while watching on Zoom. I'm going to be real short here. 3 words for me, very easy. It's our motto, service above self, and you will hear more about what some of that service looks like when I join you back in just a minute.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Walt. Kevin Wardell.
I'm Kevin Wardell. I'm a past president of the club, and I've served as vice chair of the Rotary Honors Committee this year. I retired from Norton Healthcare after 13 years, where at various times I was the head of the downtown hospital and the Norton Cancer Institute. My career, which was kind of in 5 different states all over the place, took me a lot of places, and I learned how to move. And one of those things that I learned about was joining Rotary. So I'm a 3-time Rotarian, Chicago, Houston, and here. Earlier in my career, it was the fellowship and learning about a new community, much as Barbara had said. At this stage of my life, the service has taken on much greater importance, and I really think that's an important, what we are and reflects what we do.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for all that you do. Steve Eggers.
Yes, thank you. I guess I got in Rotary at the invitation of Norman Berry. He and I were business partners with K. Norman Berry Associates for a long, long time, and he introduced me to Rotary. And I was already involved in some other civic organizations, but what I really liked about Rotary was, it really surprised me, 2 things, Billy. One, it's the international aspect, which you don't really think about, but I'm serving this year again as the chair of the Service Projects Committee, and our international committee in Rotary is very active in terms of the projects that they put forward. So that was a hook for me, and just the whole connection. I know what it was. The other thing I thought was really interesting was some of the early meetings I attended. We've had some pretty conservative members and some pretty liberal members, but everybody kind of leaves that at the door. And in the room, we're all Rotarians. So I really enjoyed that. So, but I guess my 3 words, so many good words already put forward. As I said, the world impact, service, and just the connection to the community.
Yeah, great. Thanks. And thanks for sharing the important work that you do, Steve. Jan Grayson.
Hi, glad to be here. I'm the, I guess, the vice chair of the Projects Service Committee. I relocated here 5 years ago from Chicago. I retired, and so Rotary to me has been an opportunity to meet a lot of the leaders in the community and hear from a lot of the leaders in the community, and it's been a great introduction over the last 5 years. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jan. Kelly Burke.
Hello, Rotarians. I'm Kelly Burke, married to Joni, and I just recently joined that great organization, Retirement Inc. I've been a Rotarian since '94, kind of introduced by my Uncle Bill Kelly, who's still a Rotarian. So I'm 3rd generation, served on the board for 6 years. I am now on the fund committee, chairing the social committee. So if there's a party, I'm in charge. So my two things is it's really the networking and the fellowship Rotary that I enjoy the most.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Kelly. We look so forward to having a party, right? We'll get there. We'll get there. So speaking of party, is Matt Gardner with us? Wonderful. He's like vice chair of the committee. So Matt?
Yeah, I'm Matt Gardner, fourth generation president and owner of Boone Gardner Landscape. Used to have a garden center for years as well, but now we just have a landscape and farm. Excited to be back in helping on service, vice chairing the social committee, and been a member since 2006 and been off and on involved, need to get more involved. So like I said, I'm glad to be doing that. And 3 words are service above self, really.
Yeah, great. Great, Matt. Thank you. Greg Braun, is Greg with us? Not here. Okay. And he also, you know, Greg, he does so much in the club, and he also is a vice chair with the party committee, we'll call it. So with social activities. So thanks to Greg, even though he's not with us today. Ashley Brower, is Ashley? Okay.
I am here.
Here she is.
Hi, Ashley Brower. I am vice president at Guthrie Mays Public Relations. And I am the speaker chair this year. I joined Rotary as a Rotary Leadership Fellow through the MBA program at U of L 7 years ago, maybe. And so my 3 words are serving, learning, and it's certainly been inspiring.
Great. Thanks for all your work, Ashley. Throughout the year, you do so much for us. We appreciate it. Daleen Taylor.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Daleen Taylor, I am a CPA with Deming, Malone, Lipsey, and Ostroff. And I am a new member of Rotary, but I've already been recruited to be vice chair of the Speakers Committee. So looking forward to working with Ashley and the team on that. My 3 words would be connection, impact, and promotion. I love connecting with and promoting people and organizations who are doing great things in our community, and as a result of that, being part of the impact.
Wonderful. Thank you, Daleen. Maria Smith. Maria's not able to be with us, but she is vice chair of the Strategic Planning Committee with Luke. Karen Morrison. Karen, are you unmuted or?
I am.
There
Hi, I am the president and CEO of Gilda's Club, Kentuckiana. It's a cancer support community. And what hooked me about Rotary many years ago was those 3 words, service above self. And that still resonates for me today. So like Chris, who said earlier, I have a new puppy. So there's a lot of chaos around me. So I'm keeping my camera. My daughters who normally help with the puppy are not here. And so anyway, nice to see everyone.
Thank you so much. Abby Piper.
Hi there. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear, Abby. Good to have you.
All right, good. Really excited to be here today. I am work for Jefferson County Public Schools. I am our executive for government relations, so I do all of our local, state, and federal policy work and strategy. I was in the Rotary Club in Boyle County for several years, moved to Louisville a few years back, and have been trying to find my feet in this community, and really sort of was drawn back home to Rotary for that reason. I'm going to be the co-vice chair of the Youth and Education Committee, which will be fun, and probably more enlightening than I would imagine. So I would say my 3 words are intentions into action. I know that when we talk about we all have good intentions for things, but putting them into action is where I find it happens in Rotary.
Wonderful. Thank you, Abby. Craig Sherman.
Hello. The 3 words are basically making a difference. And basically Rotary is fun because I'm working with a lot of great people, and it's very special. And I've been retired for 20 years. So that's where I spend my time in organizations. That's it.
Thank you, Craig, and thanks for all you do. Really, really wonderful member. Did we miss anyone that I didn't call on at all? Or
Lori Flannery has joined us.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Who you said?
Lori Flannery has.
Oh, wonderful. Lori, what we're doing is just introducing ourselves and saying what attracts us to Rotary, if it's service, meetings, whatever it might be that you like the best about it.
Okay, well, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Lori Flannery. I'm the CEO of New Directions, and we are a community development corporation, a nonprofit, mostly serving West Louisville. I joined Rotary a little over 3 years ago as a first-time Rotarian because I had spent the majority of my career driving to Frankfurt and working in state government. So when I left state government and decided to run this nonprofit, I was trying to figure out ways to get more connected in the community. I'm not sure I would have thought of Rotary because it had not been in my past, but Rick Harnett came and visited with me pretty early in my tenure at New Directions. And then I ran into Alice Bridges, who I'd already known, and she was the current president, and they both sponsored me. And I will have to say it has been a really great experience so far. The 3 words I would think that really resonate with me in my relationship with Rotary are networking and fellowship and honestly fun. I mean, I really look forward to it, and I've really met a lot of great people. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lori. Anyone else, Alyssa, that we missed? Or
I didn't know if you wanted Woody Northup to say anything.
Oh, I'm going to introduce Woody in just a second. So there is one person, though, I do want to mention. One of our vice chairs is Carol Nord, and you might have seen the email that went out. So she's in our thoughts, our prayers, and our praises as she's recuperating from COVID-19. If you have time to jot her a note, I know she'd appreciate hearing from you. So good thoughts for Carol. So the next slide, please. We're going to move on to Rotary International. And as you all know, it's really kind of speaking to the choir, but I think what we'll do is run through some of the overarching ideas about Rotary so we can all hear it together. So Rotary International, global network of 1.2 million, 34,000 clubs worldwide. And this past Thursday, July 23rd, during our meeting, I received a note from District 3150, President Suren Papuri in India, saying, wishing our club a happy Charter Day celebration. Just kind of really just struck me to think that note came all the way from India and someone else cared so much about our charter as we do. So we are truly connected. Rotary is global. Next slide. The power of Rotary, Rotary International's avenues of service are listed here, and our club's program of work ties into these areas. I am so pleased that past president of our club, Woody Northup, who has also held several leadership positions within Rotary International, could join us today and share a little bit about his experience. Why Rotary? So we'll turn it over to you, Woody.
Hey, Julie, thanks so much. It's really a pleasure to be here. Our club is a great club. Look at all the people that are involved, even prior to the year starting. It's a wonderful thing, and I've been very pleased to have been involved with this club for, I hate to say, almost 30 years. It's been a great trip and a great joy. I'll tell you just a little bit about how I got involved, and this is just sort of kismet. I didn't plan this, but I'm sitting up in my upstairs office, and behind me, I don't know if you can see the picture of the gentleman behind me. His name is Whalen. He is my wife's grandfather. He was president of this club in the 1930s. And if you fast forward 50 years after that, his son-in-law, my wife's father, was president of this club in the 1980s. That gentleman, Jim Maher, came to my office one day and said, "You need to join Rotary." Well, if you're smart, when your father-in-law says something like that, you do what he tells you to do. So I did join, but I didn't really become a true Rotarian. I was in Rotary, but I wasn't a Rotarian until probably 15 years after that, 14 years after that. I happened to be on a committee that was helping to organize the Party for DePaul. And it was a fundraiser that the club held every year to benefit the DePaul School for Dyslexic Children. Well, I happened to be on that board with Julie and with Todd Warren, who is on this call now. The chair of that event had to drop out for health reasons, and somehow I got volunteered to become the chair of that event. Because I stood up in front of the group, in front of our meetings week after week, touting how wonderful the party for DePaul was going to be, at some point someone came to me and said, would you consider running for the board of directors? I did. I ran for the board of directors. I was elected. 2 years after that, I was selected to be the president of our club. I was the the president-elect, and then the president, and then the past president on the board. So I was actually on the board for 5 straight years. So that's really how I got involved with Rotary. And why I got really involved was through another association, another great organization. Since then, I've gone on and done a few other things in Rotary. I've enjoyed it very much. I was selected to be the district governor in 2008. My term was actually in 2010-11, and that is for the western half of Kentucky. At that point, there were 58 different clubs in the district, and the governor, one of the jobs the governor has is to go around and speak to each one of those clubs, which I did. And it was a delightful experience. It was wonderful to see the different areas of our state, to see the different clubs that existed. One of the things that I really didn't know before I got in at the district level was that our club is sort of an anomaly. We have a huge membership. We're one of the old flagships, one of the original big club in the country. And at that point, we were, I think, the 7th largest in the world with 450 members at that point. I'm not sure how many we have right now, maybe just under 400. But most clubs do not have that. The average size of a Rotary club around the world is 34 people. So it was a real sort of shock to me to find out that the clubs out there were nothing really like our club at all. But they were like our club in that they were all dedicated to doing good in the world. They all had their own projects. They were all raising their own money. They were all participating in the Rotary Foundation and trying to make things happen, trying to stir things up, trying to do good. So it was a real treat. After that, I was, again, asked to be on a committee that taught presidents-elect in our zone. Our zone has 12 different districts. We're in 6 different states. And every year, 480 of the presidents-elect come to somewhere in Tennessee. It was Nashville for a while. Now it's Chattanooga. And they have a 2.5-day course on how to be a president. And so I was asked to be on that committee, and I helped draw up the educational prospectus for these presidents, and actually was very involved, especially in regards to the foundation that's always had a soft spot in my heart in terms of Rotary. So I taught what the foundation was about and how they could be involved and why it was important to their clubs to be involved and so forth and so on. After that, I had the great privilege of chairing the program committee for one of the zone institutes. Again, that's about 500 past district governors and other interested Rotarians come every year to a particular spot. This year it was in that particular year, it was in Springfield, Illinois. And I got to run the program, and it was a very intense 3 months when I almost did nothing but prepare for that program. There was a lot of planning that went in before that, but it was really a wonderful experience. And then from that, I was asked to be the Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator, which again put me in charge of fundraising for the foundation for our zone, which is 12 districts in 6 different states. And I've just completed that job. So it's been sort of it's a different ride. I started very local, ended up multi-regional, and it's been a lot of fun and very, very fulfilling. Rotary works all over the world, not just in our community, but all over the world. And everything that we do to raise money for the foundation affects those people all over the world. In that 3 years, we raised just right at $11 million for the annual fund, $2.5 million for polio prevention, and another $2.5 million for the endowment fund. And those are great numbers. But what you have to realize and what you have to look at is what's behind those numbers. What's behind those numbers are the smiling faces of children and their parents and their grandparents all over the world, because they are receiving aid in education. Mothers and children are receiving aid in their maternal and child health, in their economic activities, in peace promotion, clean water, and of course polio, which we're just about to wipe out. We can't quite get those last few cases, but we're very, very close. And beyond that, you sort of have to look at the Rotarians that are receiving that money through their clubs, just like us, busily planning. How are we going to spend that money? Who are we going to spend that money on? How do we affect the world in the biggest way we can? How do we affect our community in the best way that we can? So that's what this money really means. It's not just money, it's the action that money enables. And that includes what's going on within our own clubs. So what makes Rotary special is that we are all what I think of as ordinary people, but we're doing extraordinary things. Mm-hmm. And we do it through raising that money, but really we do it through our relationships with each other. When you think about our world today and what we're going through right now, pandemic, it's just something unlike. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my 72 years, and I'm sure most of you have not either. The pandemic, and then the George Floyd, unbelievable, and the outrage that has proceeded from that event of one man holding another man down for 8 minutes and 42 seconds. The rightful outrage that has ensued from that. And then on top of that, you have one of the most politically divisive environments that I've ever seen, where people not just disagreeing, but they're condemning each other for being on a different page. The good news is that we belong to an organization that doesn't think that way, that doesn't act that way. I think it was Kevin Lynch that said something about my acceptance speech for the Lifetime Rotarian Award, which I got 2-3 years ago. And let me just add on to that, Kevin. But the other thing I said was one of the best things in Rotary is that when you walk into a room of Rotarians, everyone in that room thinks that you're there for a good purpose. That you're there to do good. They don't think bad things about you. They assume you are there to help. They assume that you are there to make things better. And that's just something that you don't really get in a lot of places in this world. But we are part of an organization that does that. We don't really care what the color of your skin is. We don't care where you're from. We don't care what you did 25 years ago. If you're here to help and you're a Rotarian, we welcome you with open arms. That's what our organization is about. And that's what really the world needs right now is organizations like ours that do these kinds of things and act that way. So let me just congratulate all of you for being in the position that you're in right now, for stepping up and volunteering to make our club a better club, to make our city a better city, make our state and our district a better state and a better district. It is work, there's no question, but it is really fulfilling. Let me just add one more thing. What makes all this possible? It's not the money, it's not the organization, it is the friendship we have for each other. Mm-hmm. When I ask you guys to help out, when I extend my hand to you, you help me because you're my friend. You know me. That's what Rotary is really about. It is friendships that work together to make the world a better place. I think we have to keep that in mind. It's very hard to do on a Zoom call. We're doing the best that we can, but as soon as we can, we need to remember that there is no substitute for being in the same room together, even if we are socially distanced. There's no substitute for that kind of activity and that kind of socialization. So congratulations again. Thank you for doing everything that you're doing for our great organization. And I will be rooting for you and willing to help in any way I can. Thanks so much.
Rhodey, thank you so much for your inspiration. You, I believe, were the chair of our club when I joined, and you definitely imparted something special in my heart in the service with the DePaul School. So I just so appreciate you and all you stand for. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Julie.
Appreciate it. Okay, so the next slide, uniting leaders, building community, our Rotary Club of Louisville. Our club, as he just mentioned, we were first in Kentucky, 45th in the world, and now we're in our 108th year. When I think of that, it's just amazing that an organization could not only be alive, but thrive 108 years. And, you know, truly our vision in our core principle of service above self is what knits it all together. And so we're just going to move right along. I hope everyone received and read the beautiful tribute that Tony Newberry wrote, A Year to Remember, this past year of our Rotary service. The accomplishments and impact of this club has had on the region and globally is truly inspiring. So we will be sending that out to the full membership. But for me, when Tony put that all together and you could look at the impact of our club, all the different areas that we worked on, and we even had a pandemic. It was really, for me anyway, truly inspiring. So Tony, thank you for that, for making that possible for everyone to join in the celebration. So if you didn't receive it, please reach out to Alyssa and we'll resend it to you again. Okay, so next slide. I don't know if it's not working again. I guess it takes a couple of minutes for Zoom to pop back up the PowerPoint. But we want to go now to Rotary Hallmark, our initiative. We've got all kinds of slides here. We'll just move right through those to slide Rotary Hallmark Initiative. There we go. Our Hallmark Initiative, Rotary Honor Scholars, is one that rises above. As we just said, you know, when you look at all the things we accomplished this past year, I think really the Rotary Honor Scholars is one that most of us celebrate the most. And we're appreciative for the many Rotarians that support and engage in this effort, and for the chair, Walt Kunow. We're delighted that one of our outstanding Rotary scholars has joined us along today. And so please welcome Walt and Reese.
Thank you, Julie. Reese, if you would unmute now, I'll call on you in just a second after I do a nice introduction and a little review for everyone. So in 2011, Henry Heiser Jr., for our signature project for our centennial year, decided that a scholarship for some of the lower performing high schools was in order. And Rotary and Rotary Friends, Woody, one of the pillars of this as well, many of you as well, we raised $1 million to benefit Western and Iroquois high schools, two of the most underserved and under-resourced schools in the city and arguably in the state, with the hope that we would be able to help young people get a college education. So we have $2 million, as Tony said, sitting in endowment. We throw about $80,000 a year off with them, but we wanted to do more. We wanted to work with students. We wanted to be there for the kids, for our scholars. And you're going to meet Reese here in just a minute, but let me tell you a little bit about Reese and a little bit about what we've been doing recently. So the COVID pandemic changed our game plan. We had 18 sessions planned for last year. We completed 60 of them. We had 350 volunteer hours by 60 Rotarians and community volunteers. We in addition to what we normally do, we also bought our Western Seniors yearbooks. We provided medallions and ties for the boys, and clutches and medallions for the girls. We keep in contact with these young people, and we really, really want to work hard to make sure that they know how to access these scholarships. So Gary, you need to know about Reese. We're going to talk about Reese Grace here. And I got to know Reese about 2 years ago when he started early college. And Reese is the first and only early college student at Jefferson Community Technical College to earn all A's, his junior and his senior years. And Betty, he's on his way to Indiana University Southeast to take advantage of the Rotary Scholarship there. So thank you for helping us extend those scholarships, and you're going to love having Reese. Reese obviously was in the National Honor Society, and he's also in the National Society of High School Scholars. He's competed in the National Chemistry Olympiad at the national level. Reese is already in the Western High School Athletic Hall of Fame. And listen to this, for cross country, track and field, wrestling, and tennis. And in his spare time, Reese is an educational justice activist, which means he tutored a middle school student his senior year. I don't know when he has time to do this, but we're delighted to have the valedictorian of Western High School join us and talk to us about what Rotary has done and what a difference our programs, Educational Justice and our Rotary Honors Scholars program at Western High School mean. So Reese, tell me a little bit about your experience with Rotary.
Yeah, no problem. So first I'd like to say that Rotary, they got me connected with a lot of people and a lot of organizations that I definitely would not have connected with if Rotary did not point me to these people. So they did an excellent job at showing me what steps I should take to get closer to my goals. And they wanted to make sure that me and other students have the resources we need to enter the career that we wanted to be in. So Rotary, they also matched me up so they took my talents and my interests to different careers, because I was deciding between criminal justice and chemical engineering. But now I know for sure that I want to go to criminal justice. Criminal justice is what I want to major in. So they introduced me to many people, like, for example, Steve Runsworth, who is in fact an engineer, and Rick Gardner, I think that's what his name is, who described what I needed to do and what capabilities I need to have to be in different types of careers. So being in the Rotary Honors Program was extremely helpful. So they introduced me to educational justice, and they helped me confirm that I want to major in criminal justice instead of chemical engineering.
Great. So tell us a little bit about your experience with educational justice too, Reese.
Okay, so educational justice. So every week for 1 hour, I would go to the Shively Library to tutor a 6th grader by the name of Rico Hayden. So this student, Rico Hayden, he attended WEB, Du Bois Academy. So from October to the end of the school year, I helped him with, projects and homework assignments for every subject he was taking, and also helped him study for tests and eventually created assignments related to the topics that his class was going over. I wanted to make sure that Rico made the honor roll, which he did. I made a schedule for the session so that everything was planned and we utilized the entire hour that we had to tutor him. So, well, until everything was closed down due to the pandemic. So after the pandemic, everything got closed down. So I had to adjust doing things virtually. I had to improvise a little, and sooner or later, I'll use the things that I helped Rico with his academics for my own academics, because of how well and how easy it was to maintain my grades and be successful in all of my classes and how well it was organized. So yeah, so I definitely benefited from this with my own academics as well as helping him with his academics. So it was, I'm very thankful to be in the organization of the Educational Justice.
So I remember you telling me that you got one big surprise from your educational justice work. And you just outlined a lot about what you did for Rico. But what did it do for your self-esteem and for your confidence? And talk a little bit about that for a second.
Sure thing. So when I first started educational justice, let's see, I was just basically helping him with his homework, and that was pretty much about it. So if he didn't have any homework, I would just kind of improvise. When I first started, I didn't actually know what to do on that level, you know. But sooner or later, I gained the confidence in having to create my own assignments for him. So in this way, we have material to study over. Yeah, so after educational justice, my ability to tutor and teach other people increased tremendously. Because without educational justice, I don't think I would have this teaching capability that I have.
And how did it make you feel to build a relationship with Rico?
Yeah, so it felt very good because I think the best part about it is that I was truly helping him with his academics, but with that also, we was developing character. I was developing character for him, and he was developing character for me. And I think just being able to help, putting a smile on his face and making him feel better, relieving some of the stress off his shoulders also made me feel better.
Great. And so in closing, in closing, Reese, apologize, what do you want to say to the Rotarians?
Let's see, so one thing I like to say above all else is that resources is probably like the most important things to have if you want to be successful. Like, so in my opinion, like minorities and schools like Western Iroquois, we're definitely lacking when it comes to resources. So, I mean, honestly, I wish I could have done educational justice since my freshman year, but I had no clue something like that ever existed until you all told me about it. So without Rotary, there would have been a lot of people that I would have never met, a lot of connections that I never would have had, and things I would have never known about. And probably the biggest thing about it is that I don't even think I would have gone to Indiana University Southeast if it were not for Rotary. So I had no idea that there were colleges outside of Kentucky that offered Keys money. And like you mentioned, I received all A's, so this was very helpful. And tuition is just so cheap because of the scholarships, the grants, and the Keys money, and everything else because I chose this college. I mean, it's the perfect college choice for me. Due to the pandemic, unfortunately, I can't go to lodges, which replaces dorms that they have. But besides that, it is the perfect choice for me. If it wasn't for Rotary, I don't even think I would have considered going to IUS. And Rotary, I thank Rotary for that.
Well, you're welcome. Well, I thank you for being and teaching me character and teaching me persistence. I mean, it's been one of the greatest joys of my life is to get to know young people like Reese. And so in closing, I just want to say what an impressive young man. And every year we get young people just like this. And I'm going to implore you, you know this, you know what's coming. Come join us. This year's going to be different. More than likely, we're going to do our mentoring, our life skills coaching by Zoom or some other virtual way, which might make it easier for some of you. We've got to let the schools get started and figure out how all this is going. But we intend to support our kids, our schools, our staff, faculty and staff, and we need to support each other because anybody that's done this kind of work and working with young people like Reese, it is some of the most rewarding work you will, and it's not work, it's just joyful to go meet these young people. And what what a privilege it is for us today to hear from the valedictorian from Western High School, a Rotary Honors Scholar. Thank you all.
Thank you. Chris, I don't know if it's possible, but we have a picture of Reese with the student that he tutored, the Rotary Hallmark Initiative, and we have another quick look at those two gentlemen together. It says Rotary Hallmark Initiative at the very top. Welcome, Reese Grace, and lists Western High School, Early College, valedictorian, Western High School, and Rotary Scholarship recipient. There they are. I just think when you see the joy on that young man's face, it just speaks volumes. So thank you again, Reese, for all you do. We're proud of you, and we look forward to hearing more about your success. So now a look ahead for our year, and you just said it, Walt, although the year will be different, we plan to continue our support for our club's various programs and committees. Each one is critical to the success of our organization, and that is all of you all, from the finance committee to hospitality. Each one of you all contribute to the club's success, so we want to thank you in advance. There are 3 strategic priorities, next slide, that we'll be focusing on, and that's member engagement, membership attraction, and service. Next slide. The quality meeting experience will be our top priority by continuing to have a variety of timely and interesting speakers. And I want to thank Ashley Brower again for continuing to chair, along with her awesome committee that makes these great speakers and meetings possible. Next slide. Our goal also will be with member engagement. We're implementing the series. We've already started this, Race and Justice Matters, a civil dialogue that's been very well received. We hope to restart business synergy events and industry tours as soon as it's safe, and we'll be doing that whenever we can. Social opportunities, we hope to have in-person events, but we'll have to see how the year unfolds. In the meantime, we might just have to be creative, and just want to thank again Kelly Burke, Matt Gardner, and Greg Braun, and the various committees that make this all possible. Next slide. Membership attraction. This is so critical for our organization to increase the demographic and professional diversity of our club membership. You know, membership is everybody's business. It's critical that we continue to build our organization that reflects the leadership of our community. Next slide. We're fortunate to have strong leadership chairing the membership committee, and please welcome Chair Jay Mallory.
Good afternoon again, everybody. I want to thank Mike Richardson, who has done a lot of work on this, helping with the membership committee. And for those of you that don't know, we've combined business synergy, membership, new member orientation, and the mentor committees all into the new membership development committee. So it's all going to be under one heading. And really our 3 words that we're using as part of our group and part of our committee is to attract, nurture, and retain members. We did a really nice job last year of bringing on new members and quality members, but if you kind of look at what happened, we had just as many folks heading out the back. So we were relatively flat, and it looks like as of today we have 366 members. We started out the year at about 390. So we're down a little bit. As far as trying to attract new members to our club, I think Julie just said this, it's really everybody's job, right? To be talking to folks about Rotary and your experience, and looking for new members who would be a good fit to our club. So on top of all of us just continuing to invite guests and bring those to our events, I did find out just by doing a little bit of digging that we have lists of guests that have come to events, but I don't think we've done anything with that. So we really have a gold mine of probably 200 to 300 guests that have come to events that we haven't really been proactive about following up with. So what our committee is going to do is we're going to take those lists of folks and we're going to reach back out and invite them to lunch. We're going to get them a golden ticket. We're going to invite them to some of our business synergy events. So we're going to reach back out. They came to one of our events because they had some type of an interest. So we want to make sure that we continue to reach out to those folks and see what sparked that interest and see if we can get them to become become a member of our club. One other bit of goal that we have in DAC-DB is we have almost 700 former members that are in there in a database. And to my knowledge, we haven't done really anything with that to reach back out to those folks. I mean, they were a member at one time. They certainly left for a reason, but maybe we could get those folks to come back if we had a concentrated effort to go back after and talk to these folks. So part of our committee is we're going to do that. We also, you know, we're trying to stem the tide of folks that are going out the back door. And I've talked to some folks that have left, and I hear a lot of times that I have a tough time getting connected and, you know, finding my place and finding my committee. And it's such a big group of folks. I come to lunch and, you know, here's 200 of my closest friends. And if you're outgoing and social and that's your thing, and you want to sit down at lunch with 10 people you don't know and strike up a conversation, you know, that's good, but not everybody's like that. So what we've started, and that's our first class is going to be next week. We've started Rotary U for better terms for the Louisville Rotary Club. So what we're going to do is take all of the new members that have joined in the last 6 months, and every month they're going to have an hour-long class oriented with Rotary. And some of the folks on this call have volunteered to help teach those, and we really appreciate that. But what's going to happen is in month one, the Rotary U class is going to be What is Rotary? Taught by Mike Cool and Julie Schmidt. Month two is going to be Rotary International, and Rick Harnett and Susan Zepeda are going to teach that. Month three is going to be committees, and Gene West Lafazio and Greg Braun have stepped up to lead that class. And so talk about the committees and where folks can get engaged and get connected. Month four, Steve Eggers and Alice Bridges are going to talk about service projects and how do you request a grant. Month five is going to be Philanthropy Partners, led by Walt Kunow and Tom Crimmins, talking about Philanthropy Partners and Rotary Promise Scholars. And then the last month six, the group's going to complete their service project, and Walt Kunow and Tom Crimmins are going to lead that. But we really feel like if we can get folks involved and get them engaged early and find their spot and find their place in Rotary, they're going to be with us much longer. So I believe we're all bringing on new members, and we're inviting new members and bringing folks to our club. So we're doing that part. I just want to try to figure out a way to stem the tide of folks going out the back door. And if we can do that, we can really grow as a group. So that was all the notes I had. Mike, do you want to add anything?
Sure, one of the things that we're also doing is actually the first class is tomorrow, not next week, on the 28th.
Oh, my bad.
And we're also this week doing our first, you've been hearing about the business synergy that we're doing. I think we've got 14 signed up already. So hopefully we're going to get some good opportunities. And I think half the other two classes, or the other two business synergy events, have already are almost all full. So, you know, if I could implore you guys to do something, come join a fun little event and bring a friend, and start signing up for these, because this is the way that we're going to continue to maintain our good in this community, because it's the power that we have and the strength and numbers that we have, that we can do good things. So with that, I will turn it back to you, Jay.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention too is, as far as retainment, we are going to reach out to folks that haven't been to an event in a while, and just, you know, check up on them, you know, come back. And my committee did some of that last year. We did some follow-ups with some folks, and it was very well received. A lot of people were just apologetic that they just have been busy and haven't been able to attend. But as part of that, trying to make sure we retain our members, we're going to reach out to some of the folks that we haven't seen in a while. And we're in the process of building our committee right now. So if part of that, certainly reach out and let Mike know or let me know, and we'd love to have you as a part of that.
Really awesome. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Mike. And also to this leadership team, I think it'd be wonderful if you think of some people that maybe you haven't heard from, if you just want to reach out to some Rotarians, just let them know you're thinking about them, miss seeing them, or just ask, how you doing? I think that will really help build camaraderie. There's a few Rotarians that I've missed that have been senior members, and I think of myself, I need to do that. So if each one of us could do that, I think it would help a great deal. We're missing each other, and that friendship that Woody talked about, that really is at the cusp of our organization. So it really would be wonderful if you could reach out to others. Pillar 3, we're going to talk a little bit about service. One of our goals is to be able to support our traditional service projects, and a few key areas include full support for implementation of the Rotary Evolve 502 Scholarship and Rotary Scholar programs for Iroquois and Western high schools, as Walt talked about, along with continuing to support for human trafficking initiative and build literacy support for young children in the zip codes that reside in the Iroquois and Western high school areas. And also our newly expanded Community Impact Committee. If you please welcome Luke Schmidt, who's chairing that initiative, to give us a brief overview about the Community Impact Committee. Unmute. There you go. There you go.
Thank you, Julie. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to be very, very brief because I think most people have heard a little bit about the committee, but essentially it started last year as part of the theme from last year, connecting our community to see what kinds of things are out there that the Rotary Club can tackle in the Louisville area to make a difference, to have a positive impact in the community. We started last year and going into this year dealing with the issue of graffiti on overhead freeway signs, and we were well on our way to trying to come up with a good strategy and implement a good strategy to deal with that when the COVID-19 hit, so it kind of got put on hold. And then fast forward to about 5 weeks ago when the civil unrest started, and that concerned a lot of people throughout the club. And some folks were calling me or writing to me and saying, what can we do, or what can we do? And so the Community Impact Committee decided to take this on. Pardon me. We have now about 25 people on the Community Impact Committee, and we started making a list of things, of projects that we might tackle. And then we decided, before we did that, before we go to the board with some recommendations, we had a lot to learn, and because all of us are coming at this from different perspectives, different levels of experience. And so what we've done is we have put together a series of forums that will that they're scheduled now for Saturday, August 8th, and also Saturday, August 15th. They'll be day-long seminars for the committee. And we have divided that into 4 panels. The first panel on the first day will deal with political and justice perspective. The second panel on the first day will deal with community perspective, and I'll tell you a little about who we're inviting in a minute. The next week on August 15th, the third panel will deal with education in the community and how that's working or not working. And then the last panel at the second half of the second day will deal with business perspective. And in areas that where the business community is struggling and having a harder time, what are the things we can do? The committee has worked diligently to identify a number of really good speakers from the community, from different groups. Just to give you a taste of that, and invitations are going out right now to Philip Bailey, who's a political writer with the Courier Journal, Marcus Ray, who's the president of the Kentucky NAACP, Denise Clayton, Chief Judge of the Kentucky Court of Appeals, Bill Summers, former Louisville Metro Deputy Mayor, Tanika Bacon, who's a member of Black Lives Matters, and also we have Norman Martin, who is an expert and a leader in the community on youth development and violence disruption, Anthony Smith, who's Executive Director of Cities United, Also, Kevin Fields, who's president of the Louisville Central Community Center, Edgardo Mancilla, who is a leader in the Hispanic community. Also, OJ Aleka, who's president of the Kentucky Independent Colleges Association and co-founder of Anti-Kentucky Racism. And then lastly, and this is just a sample, we have several more, Teresa Bridgewater, who's president of TMG, Sadiqa Reynolds, president of the Urban League, and Nikki Lanier, senior vice president of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and who heads up the Louisville branch. So our intent is to have these folks, it'll be virtual. They'll come in and make a short presentation, and then our committee will have a great opportunity to ask questions and start coming up with some ideas. And also, I should point out that all of these 4 panels over 2 days will be professionally moderated by our own Gene West Lasavio. So it's going to be a terrific thing. From that, the committee will develop some specific recommendations for initiatives or projects that we think the club might undertake to begin addressing some of this systemic racism, policing issues that are in the community, and to make a difference. And lastly, our committee is absolutely committed that this is not going to be yet another study that the community undertakes that gets put up on the shelf and everybody feels good. Whatever we do, we'll have an implementation and execution strategy attached to it. And hopefully will, in the long run, have a very positive impact. And I think you'll find also that we will have an opportunity to partner with some other groups around the community on this. Everybody's focused on this right now. There are a lot of problems in Louisville, and they need to be dealt with. So, Julie, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. And so to the group, would it be possible, even though you're not part of the committee, that you could join in and have a listening of the discussion? Would you welcome the leadership team to be able to do that, or?
Yes, we've talked about that. And one of the concerns that we had as a committee was having too many people on, because we're only going to have so much time with each speaker. Mm-hmm. So let us think about that just a little bit. And we certainly will record all of the sessions. But we're trying to keep this as streamlined as possible so that the committee members will be able to directly interact with the speakers.
Okay. All right. So if you want to be a part of the committee, reach out to Luke. I think that's the way to do it. So, right.
We're happy to add more people.
Yeah. Okay. Terrific. Well, thanks for all you do, Luke. And I can't think of anything more important for our community and the path forward. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. Recent Rotary Fund of Louisville. We have talked a lot about our impact internationally. Here's a list of some of the projects we've done, along with, next slide, some recent Rotary Club of Louisville Club grants and some projects that we've supported. Next slide, I want to welcome Steve Eggers, who's the chair of the Service Projects Committee, who will give us an update on the process of doing grants. Steve?
Okay. Sorry, I thought I was going to be unmuted, but I did it myself. Yes, I'm Steve Eggers. I'm chair of the Service Projects Committee. This will be my 3rd year. I started out, Ken Middleton introduced me to the committee. And quite frankly, it's just really a committee of 1 or 2 people. But Ken, who unfortunately has passed on, which I really miss him a lot, and Kevin Wardell kind of restructured the process the year before I took it on. And I think it was running a little loosey-goosey, if you will, and it's given it a much more structure. Some people have told me it's too structured, but we are stewards of the monies that are in our foundation, and it has to be properly vetted and make sure it's being properly implemented. So it's really a nuts and bolts kind of thing. There's a structural, there's applications that need to be submitted. I'll go into the kind of the process a little bit in just a second, but I wanted to kind of give an overview of the scope of the magnitude of the monies that we're dealing with here. this past year, 19 through 20, and this falls on the fiscal year of the organization. So it's sort of a July to June structure. So we're just wrapping up the year. This past year, we had grants were awarded, or monies available were $159,000. We identified $156,000 of projects. There were 30 projects. Unfortunately, a number of those projects weren't able to proceed after the pandemic impacted it's to some degree, but a lot of that money rolls over to the following year that we're getting organized around right now. Julie put up the list of projects. I was going to rattle off some, but she's already kind of identified that. And they really run the gamut from projects that really don't cost zero, kind of like the bell ringers during Christmas season. That's just volunteer effort, to international projects, as I mentioned earlier, and as was shown. Probably the range of the value of the projects, I think probably averages around $3,000 to $5,000 as they come in. So the process is really set up, it's a service above self. So we want to have projects that we just don't want to fund organizations with a check. We want our members to be participants in the projects as well as they go out through the year. So I tell a lot of people that call me that they would just want to submit an application for their organization to get funded. I say, well, it's got to originate from a Rotary committee. So all the committee chairs. If you haven't, about a month ago, I sent out a letter to all the committee chairs who I was aware of at the time. There's been some added, but these projects have to originate from the chairman and a project manager in those committees, and have that application filled out and submitted. And it gets put into a major spreadsheet, and we try to fund as many as we can, but we've got to make some judgments too. But quite frankly, this year we're looking for some projects. So that we've got some monies that I think will not get identified for a project, but as I've learned too, that during the year that some of these projects come on board as the year goes on too. So, so as I said, it originates from a committee perspective, and it needs to follow the principles of Rotary. Schedule generally is, as I said, is kind of, we're requesting and getting the applications through the end of July, and those will be vetted, and then they will be presented to the committee, the Rotary Foundation Board, as well as the Rotary Board of Directors. One other thing that's important to know is that a lot of these grants, particularly the international ones, are funded by multiple other Rotary clubs, and some are from around the world. And so it's pretty unique, and I think that really shows as what he was saying about the reach of Rotary, just the monies that we put in our local fund, can have a wide-ranging worldwide impact. So best I could tell you is if you have any questions, shoot me an email or give me a call, and we'll try to answer them. So that's kind of wraps it up in a nutshell. I want to keep it brief, and so feel free to contact me if you've got any questions about filling out the applications or about the process. So, Julie, I'll turn it over back to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I saw Rick Harned just added too about if it's a district grant, that's another way to multiply those dollars. So I think what's best is if you have an idea for a district grant, the deadline is fast approaching. If, get in touch with Steve or get in touch with Kent, either one, with Harned, so that way we can go ahead and get all the monies we can to support these good initiatives. So thank you, Steve, for all your work, and I appreciate it so much.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to move now to administrative issues. Really, I think it's really important that each one of you all, if you can, go on DACDB, which is not user-friendly, but we've got to work with it. Review the Rotarian members that are listed on your committee. Right now, some of the lists are outdated, so it'd be very helpful if you could go in and update folks. Think of other people that you want on your committees, or maybe some new members that you haven't really seen them engaged. They might just be waiting to be asked. So be thinking about that. Alyssa is happy to help you, or if you need some help identifying people, please reach out to me or anyone on the board. I think it's really important that we build a succession plan. Consider who would be good to lead the committee that you're leading right now, maybe next year or 2 or 3 years out. And let's make sure those people are on the committee and we give them some opportunity to engage and know the club better and feel a part of it. As was talked about earlier, if you don't feel like you're getting much out of a club, you probably think, well, it just wasn't for me. Well, what can we do to make sure we're engaging others and we have a bold leadership plan for the future? Next slide. Committee chair, your program of work, if you could please convene your committee and develop your goals for the year. Now, of course, the year is going to be different, but if you could gather your folks together and have a meeting, if you want to do it by Zoom, let Alyssa know. We can schedule it that way, so at least there could be some face-to-face, and maybe in a month or so we can more safely do small meetings if it's a committee that's getting together. But what we want to know is, what are your priorities, what it is that you want to accomplish. And that would be very helpful to receive back from you. So speaking of staff, I mentioned Alyssa's name. We are very fortunate to have a dedicated staff with Executive Alyssa and her assistant, Kenzie. So Alyssa, at this time, is there anything that you'd like to talk about in terms of administrative work, or any other words that you'd like to share?
I don't have anything off the top of my head. Kenzie and I, as you said, are here to help people with committees, service projects. If we can't answer the question, we will certainly get an answer for you. So please feel free to reach out to us. And I'm excited to say that Kenzie's actually on this call.
Oh,
she is kind of filtering back in a little more. She's still on maternity leave and enjoying that new baby. So I'm a little bit of a one-woman show, but she is right there for me if I've got questions on her end. Kenzie, do you have anything to say?
I think that covers it all.
Well, as I said, we're very fortunate to have such a dedicated staff. So reach out to them with your ideas, or if you need support, and we're all in this together. So in closing, if we could put in that last slide, I just think it's so amazing that long ago there was a vision to create this really special milestone marker right there in our city as we're bridging the gap, and how wonderful that is right now, that's where Rotary is, uniting leaders, building community. And as we look at this time that we're in right now, I believe that we have new opportunities and new possibilities in this time of change. And our community and our Commonwealth is at a crossroad in time. I look forward to serving with you as we come together as leaders in our various organizations, and we connect as one body to advance our impact and provide opportunity for all. So as we kick off this year, I just want to say thank you, and you are really special, and if I can do anything at all to help make your area successful, please reach out, and thank you. So if there's nothing else before the body, we will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks.
Did you think that one? His hands look like on his face.